I've been researching for years on peptides. I started peptides back in 2016 before anybody really knew about them. My coach that I had at the time was pretty well versed in them. And he's like, you need to get on ipromorelin. You need to do CJC 1295. And this was all Spanish to me. I'm like, huh? What's that? I didn't know. Motzi, let's start with that one. That's an injection. Ladies, don't be scared. It's a tiny little needle. You don't even feel it. So Motzi is great because it helps your mitochondria, number one. Number two, it helps your blood sugar. So it helps you regulate your blood sugar, and there's no side effects to it. I don't even hold water from it. It's great. It helps your energy also, probably because it helps your mitochondria, and you'll feel it right away. You'll get like this amazing energy feeling when you inject it. It's great. And first off, peptides are natural branch chain amino acids that you already have in your body. And as we get older, they start wearing off. But you got to be careful where you get your peptides because they are not all created equal. Do not go on Amazon and think, oh, I'm going to buy that because it's probably junk.
This is Mastering Menopause. By using fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and mindset, you can master your hormones and get your body back. I'm Kathy Cote with Catalyst Fitness and Nutrition. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Mastering Menopause. Today, I'm very excited to have on Clare Morrow, who is a IFBB Pro. I found Clare on TikTok probably a couple of years ago, and I just loved your content and your style, your no bullshit approach, right? I love that. And your message as well. And so thank you so much for your time and for being here today.
You bet. Glad to help, girl.
Excellent. So let's just start with a little bit of your history of how you wrote a book. We'll talk about that in a bit, Fluffy to Fit, but what did that look like for you? And how did that lead to you becoming an IFBB Pro?
Oh man. Yeah, that. Well, we all have one moment in our lives, the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? And that moment for me, we are all one phone call away from tragedy or life-changing news. And for me, it was your mom's got cancer at stage 4. You better get yourself checked out. And I sunk. My heart just sunk. And because I think everybody can relate to this at some point. So I called my husband. I'm like, we need to talk. And, sure enough, mom had really aggressive cancer. And I went and got myself checked out. I didn't have the gene. Thank God. Neither did she, though. But she had the aggressive type of cancer. I forget the name of it, breast cancer. That ended up taking her life years later, but she suffered greatly. But anyway, that's beside the point. But within a month, my husband's brother died of a heart attack. So we got a double whammy within 30 days. And I looked at my husband and I said, that's it. We are cleaning up our diet. We're going to go to the gym and get in shape, and we're going to do this. And when I get a hold of something, girl, I'm like a damn Jack Russell. I just shake it and I don't let go until I get what I want. And that's the attitude you got to have. You got to be like, all right, we're going to do this. I have all my puzzle pieces in place. I've hired the trainer. I've got my diet going, all those things, right, that you do. So we started going to the gym and all the things that you do and started to see a little bit results. But, the trainer that we had was kind of young and didn't really know. So my advice is make sure you hire an older trainer, a bodybuilding trainer, preferably that knows the body parts really, really well. So that was kind of the ball that when the ball got rolling. And then one day I was at the gym and I saw this girl across the gym, and we've all seen those girls when they're doing pull downs and their back muscles are just popping everywhere. And you're just like, oh my God, that looks awesome. I want to look like that. And I remember saying those words to my husband, and he goes, well, go talk to her. And I've never met a stranger. I'm like a giant yellow lab coming running at you, right? Except I won't lick your face. But anyway, so I went up to her, and to this day, she's still my friend. Her name was Randy. And I said, how do you look like that? And how old are you? And she was like 2 or 3 years younger than me. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not young either. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know at the time you could do this later in life and look like that.
How old were you then, if you don't mind saying?
So at that time, I was about 41. And then I started, really training when I hired a bodybuilding trainer. But she led me to finding the right bodybuilding trainer is what I'm getting at there. And then my first competition, I was 42, but I wasn't ready for it. We'll get into that later. But I wanted to get on stage. I was having so much fun with it. So my husband and I started together. I sat him down and I'm like, I want to compete. I trained horses for years and I couldn't train them anymore because I have a herniated disc in my neck. I can lift weights all day long because it's a steady movement, but anything bouncing, forget it. It kills my neck. So I've always had a competitive heart and I wanted to compete in bodybuilding. And Randy's like, well, we need to go to a show and see what it's all about. So we did. And of course, he's expecting, the bikini contest crap. And he quickly realized, and I knew this already, but he quickly realized, wow, these people really work hard for, what they're doing. And it's not like a sex show or anything like that. You are showing your muscularity and what you've built. It's like having a canvas that you are creating a picture, right, over time. So he goes, well, and this was exactly what he said to me, God bless him. He sat on the couch, he says, okay, honey, but if you're going to do this, I'm going to do this with you, because I am not going to be that Uber driver hauling in the bikini model. I don't want to look like the Uber driver hauling in the bikini model. He wanted to, be fit too. And it was really the best decision we both could have made to do it together. And if there's anybody out there listening right now and you can't get your spouse to work out with you, really encourage them to do so. Definitely follow my account, because I put my husband on there all the time. And my husband is now 70. He was 60 at the time. So he started at age 60. I started at age 42 bodybuilding. Now, before that, my fluffiest, I was 38, 39. And I've got a big, on my book, I've got on the cover, I've got a picture of me in a white bikini. And when I saw that picture, I cried my eyes out, and I had to lose some weight. But I ended up skinny fat because I didn't know what I was doing. And I hated it. I'm like, where did my rear end go? Where did I have no shape now? And so that's what we call skinny fat. So that was another thing that led me to that path. But anyways, so he's now 70. I'm now 51 in full blown menopause, of course, and a wellness coach, is what I said, a wellness coach. And I also do, online training and that kind of stuff too. But more than anything, I just like helping people, because there's so many ladies that are suffering out there needlessly. They're having all the symptoms we always talk about: hair loss, belly fat, can't lose weight no matter what you do. Your energy is low. Your libido is low. All the things, right? Itching, bloating, you name it. All the things, acne, melasma. So if you're having any of those symptoms, I highly encourage you to find a wellness specialist, a wellness doctor, or an HRT doctor, because the GPs, the OBGYNs do not specialize in hormones. They don't know, come here from Sikkim. A lot of times, yeah, right. They always say, oh, you're within normal range if they test you. If you're having any of those symptoms, you are not within normal range. There's a big difference between normal and optimal.
Yep, absolutely. Well said, my friend. So walk us through like how you went, like ended up being an IFBB Pro. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many years? I'm just really curious. I think people are like, oh, you're like, oh, I want to do that, right? But how long did that actually take, and like what is involved in that? I know I watched a live posing clinic that you did. There's a lot that goes into that day. So kind of walk us through like that finale, the end.
Yeah, the posing is harder than it looks. The girls that are really good at it, and I'm not going to say I'm one of them, they make it look so easy. And it's not. It's very difficult. So when I was 42, that's when I started lifting. I competed that year, but I really wasn't ready. And I did a lot of things wrong. I overtrained. It took me longer than it would a normal person. So, and by the way, ladies, don't worry about how long it's going to take, because you know what? That time is going to pass anyway. So don't worry about it. And that was some of the best advice somebody told me once was, don't worry about it. The time's going to pass anyway. I'm like, oh, good. That's so true. So anyway, being 42, it was in 2014, and I got my pro card in 2017. So I probably did, oh my goodness, a bunch of shows. I did nationals twice, 2 or 3 times before I finally got my pro card. Now, I would say I was in the middle of the road. Some people take longer. Some people get it quicker. Probably in the middle to, quick side. I felt like it was a God intervention. I'm not going to lie. When I got my number at that show, it was 10-11. And something inside me woke up. And I'm like, I don't know if you believe in numerology. And I didn't know anything about it at the time, but something in my head went, there's something about this number. Right. So I looked it up, and it was really cool. Like just some of the information on 10-11. And I just felt something was happening in my life. And doing what I do now, I think that's what the path I was meant to go on, is to just try to help people. But anyway, besides the point. So yeah, it was just one of those things that happened. I got my pro card that maybe wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know. Cried my eyes out for 3 days. But yeah, being an IFBB Pro is a cool, fun honor. I'll just put it that way. So yeah, it took me a few years. And, like I said, you just got to be patient if bodybuilding is the way you want to go. If you want to compete, or even if you don't, you just want to look good, just give yourself time. Make sure you know how to lift. Hire a bodybuilding trainer if you can, or at least an online coach that can help you, things of that nature. And it's the diet that, the nutrition side of it that people miss the most. The little things that you're eating that you don't even realize are holding you back. Like when we are over 40, we have to watch our sugars. I don't care what anybody says. That includes honey. That includes exotic fruit. things like that. You don't want to go over 25 grams or so of added sugars a day. Ladies, hear me out on this one. So track your food, look at your micronutrients, and look at how much sugar you're getting. Believe it or not, it makes a huge difference. And let me tell you why. It's not just about hormones. Our digestion slows down as we age. Our liver processing of food slows down as we age. We just can't eat the same crap we used to when we were 20 and 30 years old and get away with it. I think I hear about 40 women raising their hand right now going, that's me. That's everybody, including me. I am no exception. So make sure you're on probiotics and also digestive enzymes for this, because our body just starts storing fat more readily because it can't digest it all very well. You probably already know this, but I just want to make sure I touch on that because women don't realize why can't I eat the same stuff I used to be able to do in my 20s and 30s and lose weight. So it's a combination of digestion. It's also a combination of hormone imbalance, which we'll get into as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I did want to touch on, right? You're like, it took years, right? It took you, a few years to build that muscle. And I just hear so many times like, oh, I don't want to lift weights because I'll get bulky. I'm like, girl, like.
No, that's such a myth. You know how hard it is to build muscle? I mean, these tiny little shoulders I have right now, that took me forever to build those things. And believe me, if you feel like you're getting to your muscle, wait 5 minutes, it'll go away. That's how quickly we lose muscle as well. Did you know we lose 8% of our muscle over the age of 40 until we get to 70, and it's 15%. That's why you see, but no offense, but you see people like Biden walking very hunched over, and they fall down a lot because they've lost so much muscle naturally. And that goes for grandma, grandpa, everybody. So there is a way to prevent that. It's called sarcopenia. Nobody's immune to it. It happens to everyone. So you just want to make sure you're getting enough protein, lifting weights, and HRT. That's how you fix it. It's an easy fix. Anyway, now I forgot where I was going with that. My train derailed.
I think too, well, we were talking about why you need to put muscle on, right? And how that's like, but honestly, if you think you're putting on too much muscle, right, you can slow that roll. But I've never had that, never seen that happen to anybody. And also, hitting the gym 3 days a week and living on 1,200 calories, girl, you're not going to build muscle that way. I don't think people understand how much you actually have to eat to build that muscle. You can't always be in a diet. Being contest prep is just a portion of the time that what it took you to get there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you're right about not looking. Don't worry, ladies, you're not going to look manly. You're just going to look like a badass with a fit ass. I promise you. So back to that for a second. But yeah, absolutely. This 1,200 calorie crap, my right glute eats more than that. No, you can't. A toddler eats that much. Did you know, and this is a fact, you need 1,300 calories for your body to run itself. Okay. That goes for if you're short, if you're taller, you probably need more. So that is a baseline, but don't eat under 1,300 calories. And there's probably in fact, I know for a fact, most women do. And that is what slows your metabolism down, because your body adjusts to what you're doing. So if you've been under eating for a long time, you're going to need to reverse diet to bring yourself out of it, to speed your metabolism back up. So how do we do that? You want to add 100 calories each week. So if you're eating, let's say, just throwing a number out there, because most women eat around 1,200 calories a day, 1,200 calories a day up to 1,300 calories a day for a week. Don't go by the scale. Do measurements, clothes. The scale is not accurate, especially when you're lifting weights. Oh my gosh, I've got pictures to prove it. I weigh a lot right now, and I'm a counter climber. I'm only 5'4". So make sure you're getting enough food. Yes, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or goal weight, is what we go for. A lot of people don't talk about the goal weight side of it, but if you're over 200 pounds, and I say that lovingly, ladies, because been there with the weight. Okay, make sure that you're getting your goal weight of grams of protein. For example, right now I get about 140 a day to 150 a day, and I'm actually over because I'm an athlete, so I can go safely 15 to 20 grams over without any problem at all, and still get where I want to go. Because you don't want to lose muscle, especially, like I said, as we age, because we tend to lose it as we age. So yes, make sure you're getting enough food. How do we figure out our calories and macros? So I actually have a free macro and calorie deficit calculator in my link in my bio on all my social platforms. Or if you just go to claremorrow.com, you can find it there. Use it. It'll help you. And that's what you need to do, because everybody's going to be different. And I want to explain this. Somebody said to me on social media the other day, all these fitness gurus never tell you what they eat and how many calories. There's a reason why.
There's a reason why.
And it's a damn good one. My calories are going to be different from your calories. Yeah. I need a lot of food. Because I have a lot of muscle, which is a beautiful thing. I love to eat. but not everybody can eat as much as me. Not everybody can, some people are taller than me. So it depends on, let's say Sally, she's 5'9", right? She has an office job. She lifts weights. She's very active. She needs a lot of calories, okay? More than Susie, who's 5'2", has an office job, doesn't get much activity, works out maybe 3 days a week. So you can see the differences here. The calories are going to be much difference between the taller woman and the shorter woman, or vice versa. If the other one works out and the other one doesn't, it just depends on your own personal stats. And it depends on your activity level. So I want to stress that because, I generally don't like to give out how many calories I'm eating per day. It does change anyways. I'll tell you my protein. It wouldn't help. It wouldn't help you. It really wouldn't. And I don't want people trying to eat what I eat as far as calories go, because it might make you more fluffy if you don't have the muscle to sustain it. So, but ladies, don't be afraid to eat. The 2,000 calorie baseline is
You're
usually
probably eating over 2,000 calories.
When I'm on maintenance.
In case you didn't know, I do have a free Facebook group that you can join called No BS Menopause Secrets. The link to join that is in the bio, but I should also let you know that this week I did release the Lazy Girl Cooking Guide. So that isn't for lazy people. It is for ladies who are busy, who are trying to come up with high protein recipes that are quick and easy. Your family will enjoy these as well. And also it comes complete with macros. If you want that, then get yourself into that group, then reach out to me, or you can just reach out to me directly on Facebook and I will get that link out to you as soon as I get a message from you.
You bet. Yeah, right now, no, because I'm on contest prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 2 weeks out from my show. So I'm like,
I'm
a little low carb and a little forgetful and, trying to get my brain to engage some days right now. So when we do contest prep, it's a very extreme sport. This is not something I would recommend for anyone to do unless you are under, professional supervision like myself or my coach or what have you. And yes, I have a coach too, because I cannot be trusted with my own body when I get close to a show. We all get skewed eyes. And my coach is a pro too, and she's phenomenal. If you've never seen Freda, she's gorgeous. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, if you're going to compete, make sure you have a professional helping you. Don't try to do it on your own. Just for everyday eating, like I said, keep your sugars down to 25 grams a day or so, added sugars. Try not to eat a lot of tropical fruit, things like that. Stick to the berries. Raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries are going to be your best bet, and eat them first thing in the morning or pre-workout. Like I said, and this goes back to the digestion issue, and I don't talk a lot about this stuff on social media because I don't want these dang dietitians that are in their 30s coming after me. Oh my God, are you saying not to eat fruit? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying over 40, you need to be careful with what you're putting in your mouth if you want to stay fit or get fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
I'm sure you have all of this in your book. Let's talk about your book.
Oh, yeah.
How long? I'm just curious on a personal level. How long does it take to write something like that?
It took us 9 months. Yeah. Okay. So okay, wait a minute. So we started June of last year and it came out in December. So that's wrong. June, December. Let's see, June, July, August, September. 5.5 months for the first one. I had 2 come out in a period of 9 months. That's what I was thinking. My cookbook just came out and I did something very different with my cookbook that no other cookbook does. I put full macros with each recipe. I put, pointers in there, like what to eat late at night, what to eat pre-workout, what to eat post-workout, because I get those questions a lot and I like to answer them in my books. So that's my cookbook, but my Fluffy to Fit book has full workouts in there. It has hormone balance chapter co-written by my hormone specialist, and it's very factual. So everything was checked, double checked. Not only by me and the girl that was helping me with it, but also I hired a dietitian to make sure that all my P's and Q's were right. My I's were dotted, my T's were crossed, because, when it comes to writing something like that, you don't want to mislead people, right? You want to make sure that everything is right. And the reviews have been phenomenal. I have over 350 reviews now, most of them 5-star on Fluffy Fit. And then my cookbook is doing well as well, but it's new. So it's only been out for a month. So, please leave me a review if you've got my cookbook. I need more.
Oh, yeah. And I'll link all of that stuff in the show notes for sure. I know you do give away a lot of information. I don't mean give away, right? You're just, your lives, right? Here we are, we're doing meal prep, and this is what we do, and just right. Showing that real life of what does it take to live the life, and walking the walk, talking the talk. So you're always very open with that information. I appreciate that, right? I think everybody does.
I try. I really do. There's so much misinformation. And that was why I started my TikTok back in 2020 when nobody was on, right? Like, nobody was on. And, I started talking about all the things, perimenopause, menopause. You can't spot reduce fat because I see that all the time. Oh, do this sit up exercise and you'll get abs in a week. I'm like, no, honey, that's not how it works. It's 80% diet to see results. You cannot spot reduce fat. Cannot run your fork is what I say all the time. So yes, I'm sick of misinformation. I'm a coach. I do this for a living. You'll rarely hear me talk about it because, people will sign up or they're not going to. And, I like to keep my group small anyways, but I like to help people because let me tell you why. And this is going to sound really cliche, but God, if I ever get up there and see the maker, when he asked me, what did you do with your life and what did you do to help others? I want to have an answer for that. I want to have an answer that makes sense. And I want to remember, what it did, because I'm very spiritual. Like I'm not like a religious nut, but I'm very spiritual. And I do think we're all here for a reason. And the meaning of life is to help people. I truly believe that. I'm getting a chill right now. I feel like there's angels all around me right now. But anyway.
I believe that as well. I definitely had some angels with me last night.
Cool.
So can we talk about your telehealth doctor? I know you're always saying, hey, I have a great telehealth doctor. So give us the goods.
Absolutely. So here's my skivvy on that. I'm a wellness coach, so I work with them every single day with my own clients. So, when I do these posts about, if you want my information on my doctors, let me know. They do take insurance, whatever. This is honest for me because this is what I do. This is what I do for a living. It's very hard to find doctors that will test you correctly. My PA that I work with, Brooke, she's phenomenal. She's my personal doc also. Love her to death. Yeah, they do telemedicine. So it's easy. It's an easy process. Women are probably wondering, well, how does that work? So I'm going to walk you through it. So you sign up online or you call them and you book an appointment and they call in your blood work. They do take some insurance. I don't know exactly what they take. You'll have to talk to them. And you go to a lab court in your area or, someplace where you can get a blood draw and you go get your blood drawn. The results get sent to the PA or the doctor. They look at it. They call you, schedule a call, make an appointment with you. They go over your labs and they send you the meds in the mail. It's so easy. You don't even have to go to freaking Walgreens.
That's awesome. That's
great how it works.
Benefit,
so
for sure.
I get my meds every month on time, no problem. I never run out. I never have to call it in. It's great. Is it cheap? No. Unfortunately, insurance does not cover a lot of HRT. They will cover the labs, but not a lot of the meds, unfortunately. And the peptides, that's a whole nother animal. I love peptides, though. We can get into that in a minute. But
I definitely do. Yeah. So we'll drop the link too for your telehealth, right? And I think you list it on your bio and your Instagram. I thought
I do. If you, I hate saying this, but if you go to my link in bio, sounds so salesy. Sounds so salesy. Go to my link in bio. Oh my God, I sound like a 13-year-old. I feel like anyway. But yeah, I've got everything on there from my Amazon favorites page that all my clients use, my stuff that I use every day. I am not that shitfluencer that is going to share something with you she doesn't use herself. And I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just not that girl. So anything you see on my Amazon favorites page, I use myself or have used. My Amazing Meds is the name of it. They're in my link in bio at Clare Morrow _IFBB Pro. Don't spell my name with an I. My mom had to be difficult. CLARE Morrow _IFBB Pro. Anyway, I'm sure you'll link it all, but they're great. They're wonderful. They, will take care of any of your ladies that need help with this. But like I said, if you're having any of those symptoms we mentioned earlier, belly fat out of nowhere that you've never had before, you can't lose weight, even though you're doing all the things right. Hair loss, low energy, low libido. That left down 2 exes to go. You can't sleep at night, itching, bloating. All of those are signs of hormone imbalance. And it can start at age 35. So if you are under 40 and you're experiencing any of those, get your hormones checked. You'll be glad you did. I caught mine early, luckily. Thank God, baby Jesus. My coach, when I was 42, he saw at the time that I wasn't making much progress. And he says, Claire, we need to get your hormones checked. And I was like, huh? What? Why? I didn't know that was a thing. Why? I didn't know, but it is the wiring in the body that controls everything, right? So when I went to the first doctor that I went to here in Dallas, she's like, well, you have almost no progesterone. I'm like, well, that explains why I can't sleep at night. Your thyroid's a donkey on the edge. Well, that explains why I can't lose weight very easily. And your testosterone, 0. Your natural ladies, we have testosterone in our systems just like men do. Did you know that? So as we get older, that testosterone starts to diminish. And then here come all these symptoms I mentioned earlier. So your testosterone is directly related to brain fog, libido, muscle building, and energy. So if you're experiencing low libido, low energy, having a hard time building muscle, and you have some brain fog, that is directly related to your testosterone. So once I figured that out, I was like, where's the fucking shot? Because I'm like, I am not going to work my ass off in the gym for no results, right? Because my body has no chemistry to help me, right?
Mhm.
So
I
that is what
that too, where I was just like, what, then I was at a point too with testosterone. So
yes, and it's next to nothing. It's not going to help you. But I had drained all mine out from lifting. So anyway, I kid you not, girl, this was so crazy. As soon as I started putting it back in my body, my energy went back to the time when I was 13. I swear to God. But sorry, Lord's name in vain, but I was so happy. And my muscles showed up, I swear, within a few weeks. It was like I was seeing definition. I'm like, oh, all of a sudden that puzzle piece that I was missing in my regimen, it dawned on me. I was like, well, that makes sense. And now I tell ladies, think of your hormones as puzzle pieces, right, in your body. And if you're missing some of those puzzle pieces, you can't create your picture very well. So you need all those puzzle pieces to come together to create your picture. So those are all the hormones, your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, your DHEA, your D3, all of them, you need to get tested, your cortisol. Yeah.
yeah. And also make sure you get tested, right, ladies, right? Don't just assume. You want to make sure that you know exactly where you're at. So
yeah,
right.
Don't get ripped off and do one of these Dutch tests. No, you need to get your blood drawn. Get your blood drawn fasted. That is the best way to check your hormones. And even if you're still having cycling and having periods, which I don't have anymore. Thank you, Lord. That's the one thing I don't miss. So you still need to do it that way. So yeah, okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I wanted to talk about peptides, right? I know you just recently, maybe I just started noticing, but I think it's been a couple months where you just started talking about peptides. Maybe it was longer. Give us the tea on that.
Yeah, and I just posted a good one today on some of the fat loss peptides. So I've been researching for years on peptides. I started peptides back in 2016 before anybody really knew about them. My coach that I had at the time was pretty well versed in them. And he's like, you need to get on ipromorelin, you need to do CJC 1295. And this was all Spanish to me. I'm like, huh? What's that? I didn't know, right? But you got to be careful where you get your peptides because they are not all created equal. Do not go on Amazon and think, oh, I'm going to buy that, because it's probably junk. It's probably not real. You got to be careful when you're injecting things into your body, okay? It's best to get a prescription from a wellness specialist. However, that can be really super expensive. So if you want to know more about where I get mine, send me a DM on Instagram. I will answer you. I'm really good about answering my DMs on Instagram. I check them probably 5 times a day because that's part of what I do. But anyway, so yeah, just be careful with them. So there's so many good ones. So I'm going to touch on a few. So Motzi is one of my absolute favorites. Just to give you an example, last year when I was in full blown menopause last year, and I hadn't competed in a couple of years. So I was leaning down to get to my competition, thinking, oh crap, what am I in for? My body's going to give me hell, right? Trying to get to stage. And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. It took me a lot longer than it would 3 years ago. Before that, 2019 or 2 years ago. And so, oh my God, I was like, great. So I got there, great. But this year I introduced 3 peptides that made a world of difference. And I'm one that I keep everything the same. Like my diet kept the same. My steps were the same. My cardio was the same, leaning down this year. The only differences was Motzi, tesofensine, and 5 aminos. And I'm going to explain what they do. So Motzi, let's start with that one. That's an injection. Ladies, don't be scared. It's a tiny little needle. You don't even feel it. So Motzi is great because it helps your mitochondria, number 1. Number 2, it helps your blood sugar. So it helps you regulate your blood sugar, and there's no side effects to it. I don't even hold water from it. It's great. It helps your energy also, probably because it helps your mitochondria, and you'll feel it right away. You'll get like this amazing energy feeling when you inject it. It's great. And first off, peptides are natural branch chain amino acids that you already have in your body. And as we get older, they start wearing off. Like just like everything as we get older, our natural HGH goes to pot, everything goes to crap as we get older, hormones, everything. So you're putting back into your body what is missing that you had when you were 20. So that's just a quick overview of what peptides are, because I know people probably got question marks above their heads right now. So that's Motzi. The other thing Motzi does that a lot of people don't talk about, it reduces your myostatin. Now, do you know what myostatin is? What that is exactly? It's basically a governor telling your body how much muscle you can actually build. Have you ever seen one of those overbuilt cows, like the bulls that have too much muscle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a genetic screw up where they have no myostatin. So that's what happens. You can get a big old dump truck when you have no myostatin. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So Steve will reduce your myostatin by 40%, which is huge. And so I noticed a big difference this year. My glutes grew from that. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Because I'm not one, like, people say all the time, oh, your voice is deep. You're on roids. I'm like, honey, let me tell you something. If I was on roids, I would be a whole lot bigger than this. Roids scare the hell out of me. They really do. With all the cancer I have in my family. But I do keep my testosterone higher than most because that's how I feel better in my energy. That's, helps me with muscle. It helps with everything. And I do the peptides. And I'm honest, I talk about it all the time. So anyway, and by the way, I've always had a deep voice. Joan Rivers, Carol Channing, both of those ladies had a deep voice and nobody gave them crap about it, right? So like my mom had a deep voice too. So anyways, the myostatin. So it reduces your myostatin by 40%. So you can, the MOTS does. So that's a great peptide. It's one of my absolute favorites.
If you're enjoying this podcast, I'm wondering if I could ask you a small favor and leave me a review on this podcast. This is going to help me get the word out to more women just like you, and I would appreciate that so much. Thank you.
The next one is, and that one's a shot. The next one is tesofensine. This one helps you with appetite. It helps with lipolysis. So if you go and Google any of these, you can read for yourself what they do, but they're pretty freaking amazing. So that one helped me a lot. And then 5-aminos 1-MQ is probably my favorite. It basically stops your body from creating more fat cells. Is in a nutshell. So it helps with lipolysis as well. So between those three things, oh, praise Jesus, it was so easy for me to shred out. I started leaning down to go to Italy with my husband because I didn't want to look like a bag of ass on the beach, right? Yeah. So I started taking those three things and I noticed the fat was coming off so much faster and my energy was better. And by the time we got to leave, I'm like, Randy, I'm like 2 weeks out from a show. Like I was shredded. And he's like, you are lame. So it was just great. The difference is what I mean from last year to this year. That was the only thing I did differently was those three things. So I can very much vouch that they do work. So yeah, and I did a post on it today. I was standing there with a mic in a bikini with a microphone on my bikini.
I saw it, yeah.
I'm like, oh well. I was posing and in the garage, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this video real quick. And I was sweating my ass off too because it was hot in there. But anyways,
Yeah. How often do you have to? So what's the timing frequency in that?
Okay, so Moxie you do 1 to 2 times a week, depending on the dosage. Seeing you take it upon waking before your first meal. 5-aminos you take with your first meal. So that's basically what my regimen is on that. And then there's so many. There's another one that I do too called CJC ipamorelin. So this one helps with fat loss too. The combination of the two. They also help your pituitary gland function again, because like I mentioned before, as we get older, our pituitary gland goes to crap and we can't heal as quickly. We don't recover from injuries as quickly, as you know. Ladies going, oh, that's me. So it helps your pituitary gland to, produce more HGH, natural HGH. So yeah, that one's a good one as well.
Are these all injectables?
That one's an injectable. There's another one called tesamorelin, which is hard to find, but it helps with belly fat. That one is hard to find. My Texas doctor can get it. I can get it with my connection, but it's not an easy one to find. And none of these are cheap, ladies, not gonna lie, okay? But I tell you, they work. Now, if you're eating like an asshole, nothing's going to work. You can't eat a shit ton of calories and expect, oh, this little injection is going to help me. No, it'll help you to a degree, but it's 80% diet. And I'll always say that it's 80% diet. You can't outrun your fork.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Oh yeah. Hold on. So on my YouTube, I did a full video on the 10 best peptides that I like. And I get asked about this one all the time, semaglutide, because technically it is a peptide. Oh, okay. Semaglutide, Ozempic, trizipatide, Mounjaro, they're all in the same family. Let me tell you, ladies, if you're on that, be careful. It will take your muscle. It does not discriminate. What it does is it slows the emptying of your stomach. So it makes you not want to eat as much. It takes your cravings away. Yeah, because you want to throw up for the first half of the week. It's like it makes you really nauseous. My clients were interested in it. So I'm like, I'm not going to recommend something I haven't tried myself. So I tried it about a year ago just to see what it would do. Jesus H Christ. I didn't know I could throw up that much in 3 days. for real. And then I would burp every 5 minutes, like I just ate raw fish. And my husband's looking at me like, what the hell did you eat? I'm like, sorry. It was horrible. I said those were the biggest side effects I noticed. And I didn't have any strength in the gym. And therein lies the problem, because it doesn't allow the carbs to get into your muscles to allow you to push. Ladies, you're not going to build more muscle until you get strong enough to push more weight, right? So your carbs are your friend. And let me tell you why. When you ingest carbs, it turns into glucose in your bloodstream. We know that. So the first thing it does is it goes to your muscles, which fills out your muscles, which gives you that pump, right? So when you use that and you push in the gym, it gets you stronger. So you actually use the carbs, right? I don't know if any of you lift or if you've noticed when you have a cheat meal and then you go to the gym the next day to lift, you're a lot stronger. You notice that? Yes, absolutely. And that's why, because you have all this glycogen stored in your muscles, and the more muscle you have, the more you're going to store. Well, let me tell you, the first time they carved me up for a show, when I actually had a rear end to carb up, I felt like I was wearing diapers, for real. I was like, where did this butt come from? I love this. It was the coolest thing. Your butt just fills out. It's amazing. And that's what we do for shows. But anyways, but that's what allows you to push. So don't be afraid of carbs. Make sure you're eating the right kind of carbs: sweet potatoes, Japanese yams, white rice, brown rice, black rice. I don't care, any kind of rice. White rice is fine. It's actually best post-lifting because it's fast digesting. It fills out your muscles quicker.
A lot of people can't digest brown rice. Everybody's like, oh, we should have brown rice, right? But a lot of people can't digest that.
Yeah, that goes back to our digestion problem. So take digestive enzymes. You'll be glad you did. The ones I take, like I said, they're on my Amazon Faves page. They're Now brand, I believe. So super enzymes. They're awesome. They'll help you. Take them right before you eat. Anyway, okay, now I lost my train of thought again. Jesus Christ, it's getting older.
We're talking about carbs.
Yeah.
We're talking about carbs.
So don't be afraid of carbs, and don't cut out fats completely either. I mean, your fats shouldn't get too high, no doubt about it. But it makes sure you're getting a good amount of protein, a good amount of carbs. My off season, I'm getting probably 250 carbs a day and 150 grams of protein, and my fats, oh God, I think they're around 40 to 50 sometimes, depending on off season. Okay, not right now. Right now, I'm like a lot lower than that because I'm so close to a show. Yeah. But yeah, so don't be afraid of the carbs. Japanese yams are my favorite too. They're so good. So stick to the natural carbs. Anything that's in a box, unless it's steel cut oatmeal, and I like steel cut oatmeal the best because it's slower digesting. The processed oatmeal, quick oats, look for gluten-free. If it's not gluten-free, it's going to make you feel like shit. Yeah.
All great points. Yeah. So real quickly, just how do you reverse diet slowly out of your competition? Yeah. So different, like from a lifestyle client, right? Where you're like, well, I don't know, you tell me, right? You're like, to do 100 calories, add 100 calories a week, add 100 calories a week. But is that the same for you post show?
Oh yeah. We got to go slow, because here's the thing. There's two cool things about coming out of contest prep or a diet. A lot of people just go back to the way they used to eat. Well, you're going to get fluffy again, but you're going to get fluffy faster. Here's why. Because your body's like a sponge once you've dieted down. It thinks there's been no food around, and all of a sudden you're eating again. It's in a panic. It's storing all this fat, thinking, this is great. Now we have our fat stores back up. So once you get to, hold on. Are you there? Sorry.
Yeah.
I got a phone call. I had to go away. Send them off. Okay. Once you get to your goal weight, make sure you reverse diet out of it so that you don't gain all that weight back. Okay. And then you want to keep eating the way you've been eating with natural foods. Try not to eat like an asshole. That's what gets you in trouble. All right. Binge eating. And I was a big binge eater. On that cover of my book, 3 things I was doing wrong. I was binge eating on the weekends and under eating during the week, not realizing it was the under eating causing the binge eating. Mm-hmm. And I write about that.
That was me. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I wrote about it in my book and how I fixed it. But so my thyroid was off. I talked about that earlier. And also I was drinking 2 to 3 times per week, and it was really holding me back. Again, the drinking, oh my God, I caught so much crap for that post. So I think it stops fat loss for 24 plus hours in a way when you're older. When you're younger, it doesn't affect you so much, but over 40, it goes back to the digestion thing. When you ingest alcohol, your body has to process it right away. It's a toxin. So it's trying so hard to get the toxin out of your body. When you eat food, it doesn't really have time to process it. So it ends up getting stored. What you ate before, what you ate during, what you eat after, depending on how much you drank, can last up to 24 plus hours, right? So that's why, I say that over age 40, be careful with the drinking. It really made me fluffy. So, okay, I went off on a tangent and I forgot where I was to begin with.
No, that's totally fine. I think too, it's alcohol is, that's the way that we look at it, as to relax, right? When it's really doing the exact opposite. We think it helps us sleep, but it's doing the exact opposite. We think, so there's definitely some wisdom in those words too.
Yeah,
So
it's a hormone disruptor too, for sure.
yeah, yep. And gut, right? It does do a number on your gut, and just
It does.
kind of fat metabolism, right? Because your body has to process that alcohol. It's like, we'll get this out first, right?
Yeah.
Fat production is halted, right?
Yeah, fat loss is whole. That's exactly right. That was a good way of putting it. And also your muscle, it slows protein synthesis down 60% or something ridiculous. So if you're, for example, if I go do a big leg day on a Saturday and go out drinking Saturday night, I'm not going to get the benefits from the protein I'm eating at all from that big old leg day. You really think 1-2 glasses of wine is worth it to me? Hell to the no. Hell to the no. And you got, if you've got a goal, go for that goal. Try not to let too much get in the way. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm saying be careful with it. It also has been linked to cancer, and that makes a lot of sense to me because, like I said earlier, my mom died of cancer. So did my dad. So did my aunts, and so did my uncles. And every single one of them drank 2, 3, 4, sometimes 4 times a week, and all of them died of cancer. And now I rarely drink because I'm like, I don't want that crap. I don't want it. No.
Yeah. So I appreciate you so much for coming on. Thank you so much. Any parting words for us?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you. Like the beautiful girl said here earlier, I try to share information that's no BS. I try to help you in any way that I can because nobody was there to help me. And that's what life's about. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I've got a YouTube that's really helpful with lots of peptide information on there, lots of good videos on where to start. That's Clare Morrow IFBB Pro on there. And then TikTok and Instagram is Clare Morrow _IFBB Pro. Just make sure you don't spell my name with an I. Like I said, my mom had to be difficult. CLARE. I'm like, Mom, why'd you spell my name without an I? Okay, it's the French way. She was British. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to help you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on, and I'll continue to stalk you on TikTok.
Of course, girl. Same back at you.
Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode with Clare. Next week, I have on Amy Vetters, and we're actually going to be hanging out in Nashville next weekend. So I did record this episode a couple of weeks ago, and she's going to walk us through exactly what it takes to become an IFBB Pro. I am going to share that with you next week.